All right. Now we have a quick last look at the bigger picture where we're trying to kind of look back on what we learned today and also make a strong effort to relate it to our coursework and how you can use that to improve your coursework. Okay. So I think in the beginning, we talked a little bit about what we want to learn, and I want to kind of come back and connect to that beginning. So first we said like we want to learn what social psychology is. So social psychology is obviously the studies the impact that actual implied and imagined others have on our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, right? The scientific way of studying that. I can also kind of show you the definition here, right? So we are interested in how the actual, implied, and imagined presence of others changes our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. That's the topic. Most importantly, I think if you take one thing away is kind of like the approach from today's lectures is how social psychology studies its topic. What are the kind of ideological assumptions? So first we look at the social dimension of phenomena, right? Think of the commute. The first thing as social psychologists, they're like, okay, people want to connect to other people. The loneliness and isolation is the problem. That's very unique. That would a personality psychologist, a cognitive psychologist, a clinical psychologist, an engineer, none of them would have suggested that. Okay, so we look for the social dimension of the phenomenon. We have a focus on a perception of the situation. How do people perceive the commute? Not so much about what is actually happening, but what do they see when they're in the tube? What do they think about what others think they should do? What do they think about they should do? So this kind of perception of the situation is very strongly driven by beliefs and lay theories. We as social psychologists think that people constantly try to form beliefs and theories about why other people behave the way they do. And if so, that then guides the way we perceive the situation, the most important stuff that kind of impacts our behavior. And I think there's another aspect to that here that is often that we come back to. And it's like we're also very much interested in what in a given situation people are actually thinking. It's not so much who is thinking what, right? As an introvert or an extrovert, we don't think about that much. What we care about is like in that situation, what is the person thinking? And if I change that thought, then this will have a massive impact on the behavior. Okay, that's very unique to social psychology. So keep this in mind. We'll come back to that when we do our training sessions, our live sessions at the end of the week. I think there's a stark promise, there's a big promise that social psychology holds, and that's why it's so attractive to many, many people, policymakers, why it's so much kind of like gets so much attention because of this kind of promise of change, that if I can change your thoughts, if I can change the situation, then I can affect the behavior people have to the better. I can increase happiness, I can increase cooperation, and so forth. So there's a real promise social psychology holds, which is unique to social psychology, which other psychologies don't have to offer. Yet, we also have to say that the biggest problem social psychology and psychology in general, but social psychology in particular, is that replication crisis, fraud, and methodological problems cast out of some of our most important findings. And we need to keep that in mind. We can't just, I mean, I'm the biggest cheerleader for social psychology. We have to keep that in mind. That's a real issue. And we have to kind of critically evaluate the evidence that is present in textbooks and also that I will present throughout our lectures. Okay. How does this all relate to our coursework? I think, let me kind of push myself over here and make myself a little bit bigger, and then I can talk to you directly. So I think here on the left or my right, what you can see is that the key topic today is how social psychology studies its topic, right? If you think about your coursework, if you think about the behavior you're about to analyze, the behavioral problem you're about to analyze, I will strongly, strongly encourage you to think about first, what's the social dimension of it? What are the perception of the situation, the beliefs and lay theories, and situational thoughts? So for instance, let's say I confront you with achievement gap between people from traditional backgrounds in academia or at university. So people, let's say you're a student whose parents were already at a university as well, and your parents might have more money than other students whose parents did not go to the university and who might have less money. Okay, there's a huge achievement gap between them, even when intelligence and motivation is the same. When these two students have the same level of intelligence and motivation, okay, we can see a huge achievement gap. And the social psychologist, the first they would do, I don't want to talk about what the real reasons are, but the real reasons are, maybe I talk about it, one of them is a social one, okay? What we would immediately try to understand is like, okay, how does that non-traditional background at a university impact the social dimension of the experience of being at the university? So we take something like achievement at a university and don't look at it from a kind of personality, individual difference. Oh, it's all about motivation. It's all about intelligence. We don't look at it from a cognitive perspective. We look at it, what's the hidden social dimension? And we think that this is the thing that matters most. So more often than not, we are right about that. But then we also think about, why do people have this, like, why are they kind of, for instance, inhibited to make social connections at the university? And then we look at, how do you perceive university? Which beliefs and theories do they have? And how do they stand in the way of achievement? And how can we change them? How can we change the things people feel and think in a given situation in order to improve their performance? That is social psychology. And this is what your coursework is all about. Trying to take a problem and then identify the social dimension, identify the perceptions, the beliefs, the lay theories, and the situational thoughts, and how you can use them to explain why people behave the way they do. We will practice this from now on almost in every session we do, and especially in the one that is coming up at the end of the week. Okay? See you then. Bye.